And I'm going to introduce the fellas here. You can go around from my right here. You want to...
Okay. Hi, I'm Jimmy Page, lead guitar.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Chris Stray, bass guitar. Jim McCarthy, drummer. This is Keith Rowe, singer.
Okay. You guys want to sing a song now? No, I'm just putting you on here.
Yeah, let's go.
We'll be back with them in a second here. Peter, baby. 53rd and Broadway. That's where it's happening. Yeah, to chew some of that Wrigley's gum. I'm a big chewer myself. You guys chewing Wrigley's gum tonight? None of that stuff, huh? When did you happen to, make it in town? Just this week?
Yeah, we got in last night, actually. A couple of days off. And then we're off to Massachusetts tomorrow.
Whereabouts? Boston?
I'm not quite sure, actually. Which? Somewhere near Boston.
Somewhere near Boston. You guys going to do a concert there?
Yeah. And then we're coming back for the next day to do days in New York.
How long are you going to be here?
Let's see. Well, it'll be one day then, and then we're off to Canada, I think.
How long will you be up there in Canada?
No, just one day. Everything seems to be one
Just
day.
one day.
Yeah, you never get a chance to see anything.
You got to hit the West Coast?
We've just done all that, actually.
You have?
With LA and San Francisco.
How'd you like San Francisco?
Oh, it was great. Really liked it.
You go down the Haight-Ashbury area?
We didn't get much time to, actually, but we were playing in the Fillmore.
Yeah.
We did residency of 3 days.
Yeah, there's 3. How long were you in L.A.?
About 4 days, isn't it? Yeah.
How long is your tour, going to last this time around?
Well, it's about 6 days left now, We've been over here for about 5.5 weeks.
Does it get to you, man, after a while?
Yeah.
Like now, have you guys had, dinner and stuff?
Some of us have.
Yeah, I mean, how do you do it? You just say, hey, man, let's go out and eat if we have time.
That's it, we'll more or less go off, eat 2 and 3, get a hot dog or something, a hamburger or a slice up, shepherd's pie,
or what? You guys going to be back over here, then later on, like next year? Is this going to be your last tour over here for this year?
We have one actually in October, lined up, 6 weeks of colleges and places like that.
How do you like touring colleges as, opposed to just making concerts like, let's say, in New York or L.A.? You like the college?
Well, the thing is, every place is good to play at, If we get a chance to go on stage and play, we don't care who it's to, we like to play for people. That's all it's to.
Yeah. Does it seem like the college, kids understand what you're doing?
Some of them profess to.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're going to try this one on from the Yardbirds. We'll be back with the guys here. In San Francisco, was it? And there was a riot?
Yeah, Fillmore, it's rather frightening, actually, because we just about to go on stage and someone said there's gunshots over the road. And apparently someone got shot in the supermarket and then Molotov cocktails and... Well, it was really frightening. Really scary. Because they cordoned off the whole area, you see.
Yeah. We weren't on for just a second there, but about the bit where they came and told you that they were shooting guns off outside?
Yeah. We're shooting in the supermarkets. And...
But they say, keep grooving, guys. There's a little riot going on outside, but don't sweat it.
Yeah, that's
you're
right.
safe, unless you get pierced in the forehead with a bullet. Yeah. Then you know you're in trouble.
Yeah.
What do you think, about things, the way music is going now, as far as like the Beatles and the Stones are coming up with sort of a new bag, sort of experimental stuff with the sitar and the whole bit? What do you guys think you're going to do, or will it affect you in any way? Yeah.
Well, we've always tried to experiment and come up with new things all the time, And obviously, when we get back to England in about a week or so, we're going to record for about a month. And we hope to come up with some really good things out of that. Obviously, given the time, But, I'm all for experimenting with music, and, the Beatles stuff's just great.
Yeah. Have you guys picked up any, new, different things like the sitar, things along that line? Like vibes or something?
Vibes?
Yeah, electric vibes or electric. Yeah.
Well, just, more or less everything. We take influence from more or less everything we hear, including people talking, and that sort of thing. Yeah. And we're just going to experiment and get out things, in that vein. And we would just like to say to other people, experiment, go ahead, and listen to things and experience things and be proud of it,
Do you listen to, a lot of the classics to get, maybe an idea?
Yeah.
Some Baroque stuff?
Yeah, definitely,
yeah. Where do you think, eventually, will lead? Do you think there'll be a trend back to the, classic type records?
Yeah, I think, music, even on a sort of 2.5-minute single, so-called pop single, I think we'll probably end up meaning much more than what it has done in the last couple of decades.
I was going to ask you, is it rough to, get all the thoughts you want to get and everything into like 3 minutes?
It really is, yeah. I think it's taken us, so many years of pop music now to get there. People are just managing to master it and get, especially the Beatles, they're getting so much there in, say, 3 or 4 minutes, It's marvelous.
Well, I think WOR Stereo, as soon as we get, an album of yours, we play it, and we look for those long cuts. Do you think there'll be something like that in the future, like maybe some good 6-7 minute cuts?
Yeah, we got one on the new album called Glimpses, which we tried to do a lot of experimenting in, especially with voices, which I don't think anyone's done that sound before, especially.
With voices?
Yeah, this specific sound, it's very, very strange. And yeah, we'll obviously try and do some more long cuts.
That's what I'd like to hear, like an album with one number on each side.
Yeah. See, on stage, our numbers just gone for quite a long while. We try and go through as many banks as possible in those numbers. So we haven't really got down on records yet what we're really doing on stage. So that's really the accomplishment that we've got to do.
I think it's primarily you want to get out there and let people know where you are, and then after a while you want to start experimenting, right?
Yes.
How long does it usually, would you say it takes, to experiment, to get to the point where you can, experiment? About a year after you've been exposed? A year and a half?
No, I can stimulate, it can happen immediately. It's just depending on the individuals or the group, It's not a question of serving an apprenticeship, I don't think. It's either in you, it's like a painter or somebody. It's there within you, you want to bring out new ideas, etc. Or else you just stay the same, you don't progress too much. With us, I think we've, even say 3 years ago, we were experimenting all the time and doing things that possibly weren't being done around.
I want to talk more about, in a second here, about, how the trend is going as far as meaning stuff, in every record, rather than just coming on and, the beat. It seems like everything's following the vein of, let's have a message here. And we'll be back with our message here. Let's do a message now.
This is a Revlon happening
for you. We have a little happening here tonight with the Yardbirds, talking about this, new ideas and saying things like, there are different ways, poems, odes, novels, and, little short stories. How do you think music eventually will come? Do you think it'll come to the point where there'll be a definite story in every song, that you do? Or is it going to be, sometimes you'll say, let's just get a beat going. You feel, or is that hard, a hard thing to answer for you? So.
It's difficult, really, because there's so many trends in music, and I think it'll still keep going. I mean, there'll always be the record with just a constant, fantastic beat, which will sell the record, and it won't necessarily have any story line to it,
You guys just get together sometimes and say, I've got a thought, man, let's elaborate on it, sort of, like, get all the brains together and let's go somewhere.
A basic idea comes to the idea, and then we all sort of build it like a house. But as far as the meaning thing is concerned, we've always had a thing where we want to put a lot of meaning in our music. It's not worth playing it if there's not meaning to it, lyrically or musically.
What kind of a background, like, go ahead, you were going to say something.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that what we're doing, as a group, there's lots of groups putting out music and stuff. I think it's just a small part of the general becoming aware of things that is happening right this very moment, Just a little sort of part, like this novelist writing and this poet, these musicians, but in general, I think becoming the generation we're in now and the coming generation are going to be the most aware. It's like a mind revolution, because
it is, because there are things happening now, like when I was small, we didn't have TV. Now all the kids are growing up with TV, and they drop expressions on you, that you say, what did that kid say? That's very extravagant of you, Dad. I'm not a dad, but anyway, they drop words like this, and it is sort of a mind explosion now, and they're thinking, and people want to say things more. Do you think this is a way, about the best way to reach, the people by saying, exactly what you want on records and getting it out?
I think it's simply helping people, to sort of expand themselves.
Yeah.
Do you take any, anything that somebody might write in a letter? Do you say, hey, that's a different vein, let's try that?
You can do. Just you can get inspiration. Do you mean by inspiration?
Yeah.
You can get it just by looking at newspaper headlines.
Yeah.
You really can,
That's true.
They're so cut and dried, that they almost tell a story in themselves sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's a good revolution, personally, because, you know, I don't think anybody's putting anything down. I think they're just exposing it, whereas everything before was like under the table if you were going out and you're going to come in at 2 o'clock or something like this. Now everybody knows and they feel it more. Do you think this is, you know, like part of the trend in, you know, records? You know, it's going to be more of a, let's say it. It seems to be the way it's going now.
In the Beatles B-side, you know, it's like, you know, like what you see when you were there, nothing but show, you know.
Yeah, everything you guys do doesn't necessarily have to have meaning because everybody says, I wonder what they meant. Like a record that we are playing now, Ode to Billy Joe. I'm sure you've heard that, Bobby Gentry. Yeah. You know, people trying to read things into it. And I'm curious, you know, you guys are, you know, where it's at now. And, you know, what would you say, you know, this record says? Is this definitely, do you think this girl was, you know, a baby that they threw off the bridge? Or do you try and read things into it? Or do you just say, hey, that's good and accept it? Or, you know, in other words, do you think everything that you do has to have a meaning? Because people are always saying, I wonder what they meant by that.
Well, I haven't tried to read into that record, you know. I think to me it sounds rather dated, you know. It's like, it's a blues. It's a blues.
I haven't actually heard it all the way through properly, I must be truthful. I hear it now. Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards.
That's true. I read too much into the records, you know.
Yeah, sometimes you just have
you know, you can say Red Balloon and it's got about 1 million different meanings for people.
Right, you say Red Balloon. Yeah, up the way. They say Red Balloon. That was a French film with a little kid running down the street there. And they try and read things into it. Do you think, you know, on any of these, you know, any of your album cuts, you'll explain? Hey, this is what we meant. Just like we're saying it like it is, and that's all.
One of our records, it was fading out, and we were all mucking around doing funny noises, and people were all saying, "What does that mean? What does that speed it up?" And we were just mucking around.
Yeah.
The thing is always funny that people are coming up to us with fantastic connotations of, you know, they have in their own minds 100 different meanings to one song, you know, via the individual. And you say, really? Is that a fact? You know,
I think that's the whole difficulty of anything, whether it be art, music or anything, is getting over the idea, the original idea. You know, it's the most difficult thing. If you can get it, I mean, on an abstract sort of form, obviously, on an easy sort of song like, you know, we're going to the park and we're going to have a dance or something like that, you know.
I think probably
that's easy, but something where you've got some sort of meaning to it.
Yeah, I was going to say that, you know, I think parents a lot of the time, they'll say, because the kids now are pretty intellectual, you know, they're hip.
More so than their parents.
Well, pardon?
That's probably more so than their parents.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's what I was going to say, is blowing the parents' minds, because they can't understand how kids 15 years old, 16, 17 can have deep feeling and deep thought.
Well, not just parents, but also
yes.
You know, people just want to improve themselves now, and it's the whole thing. Everybody's got it, haven't they? It's ambition, you know, you just want to improve yourself, so it's sort of mentally improving themselves.
Do you think it's because of the big, you know, like World War II baby boom that everybody feels like this pressure, man, because there are so many people, you know, your age, my age too, I'm not that far out of it. You know, people feel like they have to do something more? Or?
No, today there's, I mean, the media that is at one's disposal gives you so many aspects to what's going on in the world, and you can see what's happening, like sort of India and things like that, places, the travel is there, and I think people just want to see everything and experience everything.
Do you think like...
Whereas in the past it was very difficult, you know, say 20, 30 years ago.
Like
those facilities weren't there, like
20
television.
and 30 years ago, you wouldn't be able to be doing this.
Right, sure.
Like
sure.
Let's say, you know, in your trips, do you think you'll ever, you know, like hit India?
I've been there, yeah. We did. We went to Australia from England. It's exactly the other side of the globe. And we passed through those places like India,
this has got to affect your music,
Bangkok.
right? You go there and you say, hey, that's something different.
Well, it did me, yeah. I just sort of... I was in a daze. I stayed there for a few days.
Do you think we're going to see some of this maybe in your, you know, coming album, something that, you know...
Well, we've done it really in the past.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, it's not so much that, you know, you've been there and you've heard their music, but you've been there and you've seen the way they live and the way they think, you know. You're just aware of the way that they're aware of life. You know what I mean?
Do you think they really are as aware as...
Yeah,
you know,
I think so. There's no violence. I mean, I was walking around in places that if I'd have just sort of sat at home and read a book, I would never have ventured into, you know, at all. But I was just walking around in these really black spots. No, never any trouble. And I was dressed as a European. I wasn't trying to merge in with the... It was marvellous.
One has grown up about, you know, this I mean, the war films and things that are made, you know, glorifying the sort of, you know, the fact that, you know, like GIs rushing out in jungles and shooting people, and the combat thing that comes on every Sunday or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, like now, you can see war on TV every night.
Yeah,
in color.
That is funnier than the cartoons in the morning, you know. It really is. These guys are around with guns.
I want to ask you a question. I don't want, you know, put you on the spot here, but do you think that, you know, people, you know, it's groovy to have love, you know, to say, hey, you know, love, man, let's not, you know, kill each other. Do you think that that this can really, you know, come to a worldwide thing where, let's say, like if we said to, you know, Red China, come on over, you know, have a cup of coffee.
Because we're not civilized enough. Yeah. Like thousands of years, yeah.
For Red China. Yeah.
The whole world, you know.
They're being brainwashed into something else. I mean, a frightening thing, you know. It's just going to the other extreme, isn't it? You know, where you're just being militarized all the time, from school upwards.
And, you know, like the people getting into you know, an issue right now, getting into politics. So it's not a music into politics, but everything seems to touch on, you know, politics, religion. Whenever you know, have records and stuff, like Vietnam now. It's rough. Like let's say, how would a group, or how could a vehicle such as music, let's say, get to the North Vietnamese people, whereas they might say, well, hey, this is really love. Or Red China, do you think that they would, you know, accept it? Or do you think these people are in a different bag entirely?
Well, they wouldn't understand the lyrics.
Depends if they could identify themselves with the music. That's the whole question of music.
What I was getting around to was, do you think you may try and release something that could be released to, let's say, other countries to, you know, like promote love?
Love to, yeah. We would love to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It would be a question of, you know, the whole communist ruling in like Red China is impossible to crack.
You've tried Red China and you can't get anything?
Oh, well, no. The nearest we've got to is doing broadcasts for Radio Free Europe, you know, promos and things. And so the nearest we've managed to do is a personal sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I didn't think, you know, they'd let one of your records get over there. I could just see Ho Chi Minh rocking. I was saying, oh, that's out of sight.
They are a frightening sort of canker on the surface of this planet, actually.
Yeah. I feel,
well, America is too in its own little way.
Oh, well,
everywhere is everywhere is.
Yeah, I think everybody's got their little sore. Why don't we do your latest thing? You cut this, what, about a month ago? A month and a half?
Yes. With Mickey Most, who's our new producer.
Yeah. Where did the thought from this record derive?
It came from him, actually. You mean the actual...
We just saw a clown, you guys, you know...
Oh, you mean the actual context?
Yeah.
Explain that.
You better, you're the king, if you...
No, actually, you know, we had this new record producer, Mickey Most, and he chose the number, and we, put ourselves in his hands, you know.
Yeah. It wasn't actually our own writing at all.
At the time, we were rushing the writing of our album, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you've got to have a single record go out. And so, you know, he did.
Okay. Let's hear this one. The latest from Yardbirds. Ha-ha, to the clown. Ha-ha, to the clown. A half hour now. Getting into what's going to be happening for you guys tomorrow night. You're going to be over at the Village, right?
Friday. Yeah, Friday night.
Friday night, no, stay here. Oh, yes, today's Wednesday here, right? Friday night. And you'll be over there with Young Bloods and Jake Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel about Young Bloods? You know, you've worked with them before, and...
I think I've heard their record about once. It's quite good.
We've heard a lot of people talking about the Young Bloods and saying that they're very good.
Yeah.
So, actually, we haven't worked with them before, but, you know, it's going to be an experience to see them. And the other guy,
Jake Holmes. Yeah,
Jake
very
Holmes,
big.
yeah.
It's happening, you know. He's been there at the Village for a while.
Oh,
good response.
Really, really good, yeah.
This is the first time we've worked in New York, I think. We actually played New York.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I thought you guys were here before.
We've been here so many times in New York without
Let's go straight through. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's usually been a difficulty for a venue. Nowhere before to play. So thank goodness they've got over that, because I've been really looking forward to playing here.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I think it's going to be a gas at the Village, the Village Theatre.
Yeah, what time do you guys go on?
Oh, I don't know, about 9, I suppose.
8 and 10:30. Anything else you guys want to add before you depart?
Well, we're going to try something there. We were getting a prop, you know, it's like a stage prop. we can get it, it's going to be really good. We can't tell you what it is, because then everyone will know, but it'll be, well, we'll really get something going.
A new idea, huh?
Yeah.
On the psychedelic thing.
Yeah, it's something no one else has done. We did it once before.
In England?
And it was so fantastic.
Did it turn them on over there?
Yeah.
But they say, how'd you guys think of this, huh?
Well, it's quite an obvious idea, really, but nobody's done it.
Is this going to be like, your bag when you
It'll
tour
be
now?
the finale.
Yeah.
No, it's a different, you have to sort of get this thing, all these things together.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
and it's very difficult to get them. That's why we can't do it all the time.
You're talking about women now. No.
There's about 100 of these things that come in a box.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, well, are you guys going to do this, like all of your concerts? You're going to take all of these little things, whatever they are?
It's very difficult. This is a special just for New York.
Just for New York,
Village special.
It's like an expression of our love,
Okay, your New York love expression. Okay, guys, it's been great having you by here. I know it's a trite expression. Everybody says it's great having you by, but it has been fun. And, next time you're in town, maybe we can make it a little bit longer here.
Yeah.
And, we'll have your new album by that time.
Yeah.
And we'll try and find out what you really meant by it all, huh? We'll ask you those questions again. Hey, why don't we go with one of your cuts now from your album over here?